So then this maybe leads into what is a lot of people's biggest problem with amillennialism, which is in the same passage, what is the nature of Satan's binding? And is he defeated right now or is he active? Because as a lot of people would tell you, he sure seems active. And so how would you put it? I think I know how I personally feel about this, but how would you respond to that?
There's a few different ways to go about it. One is to say that the context and the text says, right, is that he's bound, he's chained, so that he cannot go forward to deceive the nations. And I think that's incredibly relevant. You should pay attention to that. But one of the other texts that I've taken with those that read Revelation rather literally is they'll tell me like, no, you should read it. What does it say? And all that stuff. And it seems so obvious that Satan's active in the world. And I said, well, wait a minute. I thought you said you've read the text literally. Well, like, yeah, I do. Okay, well, the text only says that Satan is bound. It says nothing at all about the rest of the demons. So why do you think that you wouldn't see demonic activity if only Satan is bound? And I just think that that is a serious problem for those that want to read it literally, is that if you're very serious about it, it seems so obvious that it's not talking about all of the demonic kingdom in that sense. Now, if you take it less literally, then yes, of course, it could apply to the rest of the kingdom. And for some of those that are very doubtful, it's like, well, it seems so clear that we see demonic activity in the world. Of course we do. Of course we do. And this is where I think there's a very interesting parallel that we should take here. Go back to the conquest of the land of Canaan, right? We go back to Canaan. God says to the people of Israel, I have given you the kingdom. I've given you the land of Canaan. Now go and take it. Present tense, the land is yours.
Yes.
Now go kick everybody out. And this reminds me so much of Christ's Great Commission. All authority in heaven and on earth is given to me. Now go and preach the gospel.
I agree with that, yeah.
Push out the demons, kick out the demons, preach the gospel, baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey all that I've commanded you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what's going on. It's the idea that, yeah, we have authority. Christ has won the victory. And this is the other part that I find so funny, is that almost everybody says, oh, was Satan defeated on the cross? Yes, he was. Okay, so Satan was defeated on the cross. Now what? Now we go forward and push him out. And so I actually think that this is very much what it's talking about. And there's so many verses talking about the defeat of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's kind of missed out. Like, I think it's John 5, where I don't know if it's John 5 or not, but he says, oh yeah, here we go. John 12:31. Now is the judgment of this world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out. Jesus is speaking about Satan, and he is saying the ruler of this world is about to be cast out. That sounds like pretty strong language to me. And it's kind of the word used for exorcism. It's the idea of exorcism, that the ruler of the world is about to be exorcised.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, yeah, those are kind of the things that are going on, is Satan is being defeated.
Okay, so I'm looking at this passage more specifically. This is the Son of Man must be lifted up. The voice has come for your sake, not mine. Now is the judgment of the world. Now will the ruler of this world be cast out. And I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself. He said this to show what kind of death he was going to die. So the crowds answered him, we have heard from the law that Christ remains forever. So how can you say that the Son of Man? I think this is sort of interesting because, okay, so I want to get your view because I don't hold the view that Satan is gone from the world right now. I don't think he is restrained from access to the world right now. Would you say that he is confined from access to the world right now?
No.
Okay. So
no,
then
not at all.
Is he restrained from deceiving in a specific way, or is he in some other ways? What does the binding refer to then, or what does the defeat of Satan refer to during this time? Because I do think he's still active, still tempting, still deceiving.
You remember the Chronicles of Narnia?
Yeah.
The witch has cast the entire world in winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it starts to thaw, right? And when does it thaw? It thaws as Aslan comes back,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everything begins to change. And then ultimately Aslan dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the notion is this: the queen ruled the entire world uncontested. But when Aslan returns and he dies, her rule is still present and she is still present, but it's no longer legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
It's an illegitimate rule. And so I believe that what's going on is that Satan is still on the earth, but his rule is no longer legitimate. What's really taken away from him is the authority. It's the
Mm-hmm.
authority and the power to deceive the nations. And so I still think that he's very much active in the world, but he knows what his time is limited. And so what's changed is the authority. And that's why we see the spread of the gospel. And many other people should also go and look up what has happened in Christianity and the world in the last 100 years. Christianity has vastly spread across the world. And some people have pointed out, it's like, yeah, but there's still all of these problems here and there. There have been massive revivals. Some people are like, well, but Christ isn't reigning in China. That's the Chinese. Like, I can't think of the number exactly, but there have been millions and millions of Chinese who have come to Christ in the last 10 years, let alone 100 years, like exponential growth. That's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing we saw in the church. And so actually, I think we should also really, really connect Revelation 20 to Revelation 12 when it's
Mm-hmm.
talking about the descent and the fall of Satan.